The Three Sisters, written by Beth Larson Scherg and illustrated by Kevin Larson. Once upon a time, not too long ago, there was a little girl named Amanda. She lived in a tall, skinny house on the edge of town where the yellow fields rolled up into a tangle of forest. One cold and lonely day, when spring was weak and not much comfort, she was sitting with a face pressed against the window, watching raindrops wiggle down the glass. Suddenly, something far off in the distance started moving up the Black Cat Road. What was it? It was so very small, she couldn't be sure. At first, it seemed like nothing more than three small shadows on the horizon, but when she looked again, they'd grown larger, twirling like whirlwinds. When she looked a third time, she saw three tall ladies in long gray skirts and black caps, delicate black booted feet turned out just so, backs proudly arched, and necks stretching like long willow branches. But what seemed most odd about them was the way they walked in a line, bobbing their heads as if in time to a song no one else could hear. Could they be sisters? Wondered Amanda. Suddenly, they all came to a stop as if with one mind, and each reached down to pick a wildflower. The little girl watched as the three strangers continued up the winding road right past her house. Could they be heading into town? Suddenly she was wide awake. She grabbed her yellow raincoat and rushed out the door just in time to see the last one disappearing around the bend. There wasn't a moment to lose. Come on, Boo! She scooped up her orange cat and jumped on her bike. Let's see what they're up to. She pedaled as fast as she could go down Main Street and was just in time to see the three sisters go inside the town hall. Hundreds of birds were circling overhead, darkening the sky. The sound of their wings was like a mighty wind. Inside, there was a big meeting with the mayor and a little round man standing up in front, pointing at big charts. "This is where we plan to build Paradise Hill," said the little round man. 300 beautiful homes with a clubhouse, swimming pool, and you guessed it, a golf course. The mayor and the little round man were smiling, patting each other on the back. The three sisters stood in the outer hall listening, and Amanda spied on them from behind the water fountain. Twittering birds perched on the ladies' shoulders, and small creatures peeped out from under their long gray skirts. Who were these strange ladies? "Folks, this town will never be the same," announced the mayor. "This is what I call progress." The room echoed with the word progress, progress, progress. It put the townspeople in a happy mood. The town would never be the same, and that meant it was going to be better than ever, all because of progress. That's when the three strangers, their delicate black-booted feet turned out just so, backs proudly arched, necks stretched like long willow branches, headed straight up the aisle and sat in the very first row. There were so many birds flying around the room that the people hardly noticed the three sisters. "How in the world did all these birds get in?" they cried in amazement. "Any questions?" shouted the mayor over the hubbub. With one motion, the three sisters stood up, their voices ringing out over the confusion. "What about the wild geese? What will they do? Where will they build their nests?" Suddenly, everyone in the room was looking at them. "And who are you?" asked the mayor. "Osamund," said the first. "Winnowa," said the second. "And Grishelda," said the third in a dry, reedy voice. "Are you saying we should stop progress for some silly birds?" The mayor and the little round man couldn't help but laugh, and all of the people laughed too. It was just too ridiculous. "Don't worry," said the mayor to the little round man. "The birds will just have to go somewhere else to build their nests. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair to you. After all, you bought this land to make money." "That's right. It wouldn't be fair to him," agreed the people among themselves. "And it wouldn't be fair to the great people of this town who might want to live there," he shouted in a booming voice. "That's right," they whispered to each other. "It wouldn't be fair to us." "But this is marshland," rang out a dry, reedy voice. It was the first sister, Osamund. "The wild geese have hatched their babies here long before man ever knew this place." Think, dear friends, sang out the second sister, Wenwa, where will the wild geese cast their shadows on the land, and who will hear their song when they are no more? Beware, chimed in the third sister, Griselda. Man's memory is short, but the earth is old. Places more beautiful than this have turned to desert. Take care of the birds. Take care of the small creatures, and the earth will take care of you. With that, the three sisters paraded down the aisle, their delicate black-booted feet turned out just so, backs proudly arched, necks stretching like long willow branches. The huge cloud of birds swirling above them gave a great cry and began flapping their wings as the three strangers marched out of the hall and into the street, stepping in every puddle on their way out of town. Amanda pushed her way through the crowd of excited people, trying to catch up with the strange ladies. She jumped on her bike and pedaled as hard as she could. She went as fast as the wind, but the three sisters were faster still, walking in a perfect line, their heads bobbing to a song nobody else could hear. Soon they were only shadows on the horizon, but Amanda wasn't going to give up now. On and on she went until there was no one ahead of her and no one behind. She was all alone on the Black Cat Road. She'd never gone this far by herself before, but something inside made her know that she had to go on. Round a curve and just over a hill, the Black Cat Road came to an end in a green glade of young saplings. In front stood a proud wooden sign announcing, Paradise Hills coming soon. Through an opening in the trees, Amanda could see a marshy pond glittering in the sunlight. Among the tall bushes waving gently in the breeze, she saw the three sisters disappearing from sight. Wait, come back, cried Amanda. She threw down her bike and ran along the narrow path to catch up. But when she got there, all she found was one long gray feather lying on the ground. You dropped something! Suddenly, with a great flapping and honking, three wild geese rose up over the trees and lifted into the blue sky, their delicate black feet tucked underneath, their necks outstretched like long willow branches. Amanda raised her hand with tears in her eyes. Goodbye, she called out. Have a safe journey. I hope I see you again, and the three sisters flew off into the sky and were soon out of sight. Amanda headed back to her bike. She saw many creatures peeping out of their hiding places, and she realized that this marshland was their home. When Amanda returned to town, the meeting was still going on. As soon as they saw her, a group of people gathered around. What happened? They asked. Three sisters visited us today and left us a gift, she said, and lifted the feather for all to see. But what is it for? Someone asked. You can't stuff a pillow with it. You can't even dust furniture with it, said another. All you can do is look at it. The townspeople looked at the feather in Amanda's hand and wondered. Could it be, said an old voice, that it was meant to remind us that the wild geese fly this way and that they belong here too? Everyone was silent. This seemed like a very good reason, for who doesn't love a wild goose? The mayor put his arm around the little round man and said, I think I know a better place to build your Paradise Hills. The little round man said, Great, I'm all ears. I just want to build houses. I don't want to harm the wildlife or babies of any kind. Passing overhead, a flock of wild geese honked and flapped as three long gray feathers came drifting down to earth as if to say goodbye. The end.